It's finally back. College basketball is here. And today I wanted to, make a little return. Wanted to talk about college basketball and like why it means so much to me. It's a very niche sport. It's definitely one that gets overlooked a lot. People definitely make fun of it a lot too, especially NBA fans. But for me, college basketball just means so much. It's the sport that I just personally like. I've always loved sports, but the one that kind of stuck out to me that was very different from a lot of the others, had a very niche following, but just so much magic happened during the season. And obviously people love college basketball for March Madness, understandably so. That was a huge reason why I fell in love with it, but it was more of like the regular season that I loved and a lot of like the weird things within the sport that I just kind of obsessed with. And I just found it to be so fascinating. And I just kind of wanted to talk about a lot of those things in this video, like why for me I love college basketball. I mean, it obviously starts with like March. March is a huge reason why people love college basketball. The NCAA tournament is insane. There's really nothing like it in professional sports and collegiate sports because 68 teams go into a single elimination tournament. Not even the World Cup is single elimination for the entire thing. And it really spits out just a random combination that nobody really could predict when it comes to who wins. And you just really don't see that type of parity in other sports. But I don't really necessarily want to just talk about March Madness in this video. I think that a lot of the reasons why I fell in love with college basketball had more to do with just than March. Like I love the regular season, and a lot of people will say like the regular season is kind of meaningless or pointless, but for me, I loved it. But like there really is nothing more comforting than during like the winter time, getting a blanket, huddled up next to the fire. I remember doing that as a kid, and then watching college basketball on like a weekend. There's nothing like it. I don't know. It's just something that I get super nostalgic about. And I feel like college basketball is the one sport that really like impacts every single neighborhood. And I feel like that's something that people kind of just don't really understand. When you really look into it, it really is like a sport that can travel across the entire United States. Like all the professional leagues, some of these teams are really isolated. A lot of states don't have NFL teams, NBA teams, etc. But like college basketball, there's a college in literally every single state that plays Division I basketball that you could be a fan of, that could potentially make the NCAA tournament, that could potentially, go on a little bit of a run. And I think that was like a big reason why I fell in love with the sport, is because I grew up in a basketball town in Dayton, Ohio, and the Dayton Flyers are here and the First Four is here every year. So it was a big reason why I started liking the sport, and just because of like the surrounding area. I feel like it is like a niche thing, but it really is a sport where it just traverses throughout the entire United States, and I feel like it has its own unique style amongst each conference. Like the Big East tournament is a monster of its own, that's like a very northeastern thing. Even like some of the other conferences like the Atlantic 10 or even like out west, it just has its own unique following, and a lot of these teams even play different styles of basketball. I thought that was pretty cool as a kid growing up, seeing like, for example, Syracuse play like a 2-3 zone, or a Louisville under Rick Pitino pressing the entire game. I thought that was really cool. And I just thought it was interesting how different programs had their own unique quirks to them. And especially with like arenas and stuff like that, a lot of these places are considered like cathedrals. Every arena has its own unique, distinct features. And it was just cool watching, like just seeing each individual arena, because that's something with like March Madness, we don't get to really see those arenas. Every game is kind of played in like an NBA or an NHL arena. You don't really get to see the places like, for example, Allen Fieldhouse. You don't get to really see those, or Cameron Indoor where Duke plays. So it just, each place has its own unique feel. Even like during the regular season, something I really love is like Thanksgiving tournaments. Sometimes even those are better than the NCAA tournament if you can really get into it, just because a lot of these teams aren't really like used to playing with each other, so you get some crazy results during feast week. And even like the figureheads within college basketball, like it's hard not to love these guys, like Dick Vitale. Nobody is like more distinguishable with college basketball than him. Like Dick Vitale literally lives and breathes college basketball, and I just thought that was really cool as a kid. And then other people like Jim Nance was always calling the NCAA tournament every single year, even despite calling like the NFL or the Masters. I felt like announcers to me matter. I know not to everybody, sometimes they're just a voice, but if you can really like kind of hear the announcer, like a Kevin Harlan, for example, I just feel like some of these guys are, iconic within college basketball. And then something that's really grown over the past couple of years is like college basketball Twitter. I mean, it is like really a mind of its own. You've got each unique conference even kind of banding together, like especially the Big East. Big East Twitter is a monster. and you can really kind of just engage with all of those people, and it's definitely grown. I've used Twitter for a very long time, and it wasn't really until like the 2022 season where these communities were really kind of banding together. You can see some crazy things amongst Big East Twitter. Let's just keep it at that. But even like the other conferences, like the Big Ten, the SEC, even the Atlantic 10, they each have like their own unique niches amongst like college basketball Twitter. So I just feel like it's like a community-based sport. I feel like we kind of all come together to just love what is college basketball. I feel like sometimes it's kind of hard to like become super diehard into, like, sports aren't necessarily always like, let's say you can just hop right in. Like, that's what makes the NFL so unique, is that you can kind of just hop right in each week. You really don't have to be like fully engaged and know everything. Like baseball, for example, and hockey, I feel like those are kind of like really niche sports. But college basketball, really, you just flip the game on, and every atmosphere is completely different from the next. Where like hockey games, for example, or NFL games, they're just kind of fans in the stands. You don't really like feel the environment. Where college basketball, there's so many memories I have of just watching like different games. The one that always comes to mind is like Kansas against Oklahoma back in 2016, went to 3 overtimes. The atmosphere in Allen Fieldhouse, I mean, even through the TV, was insane. And that was like, I think that was on a January 1st too. And it was just such a unique game because like, I remember we had a snow day the next day. Just watching that in the middle of the night, it was like Brent Musburger and Dick Vitale on the call. I don't know, just no other sport can replicate that feeling, especially the United States, that gets everybody kind of involved. It's number 1, number 2 teams in college basketball. I think they were both like one in both polls. That's a perfect example of what makes college basketball special. It doesn't have to, and like honestly, another thing that makes it really special is you get like a whole bunch of crazy matchups just on a random like Wednesday or Tuesday night. It doesn't have to be like a college football Saturday or NFL Sunday. You could just get like a bunch of ranked matchups just on a random night in December or January or February. It really doesn't matter. So I think that like that makes it really fun. And obviously everybody loves the NCAA tournament. I've already brought it up once, might as well bring it back up again. But the NCAA tournament, man, what a beast of its own. So that's why I love college basketball, and I really think that you should too. Again, just watch a game. You don't really have to necessarily know a whole lot about the teams or the players. I mean, we're seeing a lot of movement amongst the sport, so it's definitely, even for me, it's not easy to keep up with as it once was, especially when I was a kid. It's not as easy anymore, so it really does take a commitment, but you don't really have to be fully committed. You can just kind of tune into a game and get to experience an atmosphere that you're just not going to see in another sport. And that's something that makes it really unique, especially even if you're not even like from the United States. You could still tune in. And, I like watching European soccer, and each game you get like different atmospheres, and that makes watching it a lot more fun. And I feel like, college basketball definitely is a lot like that. So yeah, that's kind of what I got for you guys. Just wanted to make a fun little video talking about why I love college basketball, and I really feel like you should too. Just get involved amongst the community. Honestly, everybody's pretty welcoming. Everybody that loves college basketball wants college basketball to succeed. So we want people to come in and like the sport. What we don't want are people that bash on the sport. That's what we don't like. For example, NBA fans, they love to bash on the sport. But as long as you're chill and just want to get into the sport, everybody's pretty welcoming. And the cool thing about college basketball, again, is there's a university near everybody. So there's your perfect chance to just hop right on the bandwagon and just find your school. You don't even necessarily have to go to Division I school. And even if you did, if you went to a college, they more than likely had a basketball team, especially if you went to like a Division I university. There's your perfect team to just hop on and be a fan of. You don't even really have to pay that much attention. Just something to do, something to get your mind off the world. So that's why I love college basketball. I'm really curious to know why you guys, if you are a college basketball fan, fell in love with the sport. I'd love to hear everybody's unique story down below. That'd be really cool to hear, because again, I love college basketball, and the number one thing that I love is people that love college basketball. So always cool to hear everybody's perspective. So that's gonna do it for this video. We'll see what I have planned next, but just kind of want to make a return video, something that would get me smiling, and obviously college basketball does that. It's something that I care so much about, and it gets me so hyped. So thank you for watching if you did all the way through. Really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.